No. I will now ask the committee to have regards to whether it is satisfied with the responses and if it wishes to A. Refer the decision back to Cabinet for reconsideration, setting out the reasons and rationale for the request, or decide not to refer the matter back to Cabinet. Do we have a mover? And do we have any proposals? And do we have a seconder and a mover, please? Councillor Williams, please. Martin Williams.
Thank you, Chair. Having listened to everything, I don't feel a lot of it was discussed, and a lot of there was a lot more meat put on the bone. But I'm unsatisfied that such a significant strategy cannot have some form of credible cost put to it, and I particularly in the next year to 18 months, where we know, according to the strategy itself, that there are some significant carbon savings to be made. I would, if we're allowed to do this, because I think it's a bit of a hybrid of the two, I would propose that we send it back to Cabinet, but ask them to consider how best to apply an indicative cost to the strategy. That's what I would like to do. And I'm saying, I don't. The Swansea example may be too broad brush and may be misleading, as Zach said. But between Swansea and nothing, there must be a way of advising our residents what this is going to cost them over the next 7 years. So that's why motion looks a bit rambling as it was.
Have we got a seconder for that motion?
Sorry, Chair. Could we just be clear? Are you saying send it back for re-decision, or are you just saying send it back with recommendations?
Send it back for a re-decision with those recommendations. Okay. If that makes sense.
Right, okay.
And you're not talking about costings for the next year or two. We're talking about the full costings for you till up to 20.
Well, whatever the Cabinet feels is appropriate, but it needs to be more than nothing, which is what we've got now. Yeah.
Do we have a seconder for that proposal?
If you don't mind, Chair, yes. I'm happy to second it. I'll give you my reasons why. Yes, I agreed with the Cabinet, and I agree with Councillor Williams that I don't think the Swansea strategy was the right one. If there's an overspend, you're going to get criticised. If there's an underspend, why did you commit to so much money to it? But I do think there needs to be some cost appraisal to this. If you look at projects that we have currently across the borough, these are costs anyway. But if the Cabinet can find a way to explain to councillors and residents of what the net benefit to Target Zero is. I'll give you a quick example. If we look at our agenda here, you get a nice little thing. By receiving this agenda pack electronically, you save the authority £1.76 for not printing it off. Now, can the Cabinet do something similar, that we've chosen this building model because it benefits our net zero ambition, and this is the benefit, or we've taken that decision and that's the cost to it. So I think we're along the same path. So I'm happy to second this in principle.
Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. Have we got any other proposals? Oh, sorry, we got Councillor Stephen Bledsoe next, please.
Thank you, Chair. And I've felt that this has been a very worthwhile session. I've appreciated the honesty of the officers and the Cabinet members and the questions that have come forward. And I do find myself agreeing with Councillor Pratt in that I agree with what Councillor Williams has proposed by listening to what Zach and Councillor Spanswick has said in relation to what Swansea have produced being not helpful. But then I'm sitting next to Councillor Williams, and I agree with him when he says, but surely what we have planned for the next 24 months, we must have ideas for those. And I certainly, as a way of trying to be the best authority we can be, feel that the Cabinet can put costs on what is in the short term with ideas of what's in the long term. I certainly don't want to follow the example of Swansea and just pluck it, almost plucking that figure and not meaning anything. However, given the pressures that we know are coming next year, the year after in budget setting, I do believe that costs linked to our carbon neutrality do need to be made public for our residents so that they know where their money is going. We may have to spend more on items to achieve a target set to us by Welsh Government, which again, as Zach Shell, currently doesn't come with a stick, but may further down the line. So I certainly would support sending this back to get a report that indicates what our short-term costs will be, with the working towards that being a rolling figure over the next 7 years. Because having, as Martin or Jonathan said, I can't remember which one it was, having nothing, I don't feel is enough at the moment.
That is slightly different to what Martin said with respect, isn't it? Didn't Martin, I don't know if there's... I understand the short-term point made by Martin that it could be costs for short term. It's that longer. I tried to clarify that.
Chair, sorry, I did go on a bit. Send it back for reconsideration with the recommendation that they consider how best to communicate the cost of the strategy. I personally would expect to see a long-term and short-term view of that. That becomes confusing and unwieldy. But certainly send it back for reconsideration, and the advice being consider or advise, put some cost to that as they see it fit,
Especially short term, really, because that's the ones you.
Well, I'd like to see it all, but it depends what's.
Well, I think in fairness to Zach, I think Zach's point of the variables good. Sorry. Watson, please.
Sorry, Chair. Just when it's appropriate, I was just going to say that in the Constitution, your options are to either accept the Cabinet decision or to send it back. So if you're sending it back, you need to give written reasons why you're sending it back. And I think from what I'm hearing so far, and I appreciate there are other people who want to speak, is that your written reasons will include that you are not happy with the financial information in the original Cabinet report, and you think the Cabinet need to consider the wider financial implications before making that decision.
That's a good summary of what I was thinking, thank you. Because it's ultimately their judgment. They have to then decide whether, one, they listen to that, and two, how the depth of that information. We don't know that, do we, Chair?
Thank you, Martin. Again, Councillor A. Williams next, please.
Thank you, Chair. I concur with Councillor Martin Williams regarding the financial implications need to be made more clear to residents. I think Councillor David wallpapered over the cracks by saying that residents are only interested in the delivery of carbon net zero. I think residents are far more interested in what it's going to cost them with regard to council tax and cuts to services. And I think those implications need to be put into the decision that the Cabinet are making. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. I got Councillor Graham Walter next, please.
Thank you, Chair. I think there's probably a degree of confusion here between the definitions of a strategy and a plan. And during the meeting, I've been looking at these definitions on various business schools. A strategy is a blueprint, a layout, a design, or an idea used to accomplish a specific goal. It is flexible and open for adaptation and change. A plan, however, is what you use to deliver a strategy, and it will include finance, tactics, operations, and contingencies. Now, what we're being asked to consider is the net zero strategy. So I would not support sending it back as proposed. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Walter. Very interesting. So have we got any other proposal? Have we got a seconder for that? Was that a proposal, Councillor Walter?
I'm not sure I can make a proposal that's in direct contradiction to another one. I can only vote against the one that's put forward, but I'll be guided by the monitoring officer.
Kerry Watson, please.
You could, if you're not in support, you can make an alternative, an amendment. But if there are only the two options, then you could vote for not. The vote will be, are you sending it back? You would vote no, and then it would fail if there were enough that voted no. Or you can make an amendment to what's already on the table.
My proposal then would be that we take the second option and not send it back. Thank you.
That need a seconder? No, that's just the other answer to the indicative proposal, I suppose. Yeah. See any other hands up? Well, are we going? We are going to take it to a vote. I take it, Kelly. Yeah.
As there's not. Sorry, as there's not consensus in the room, we'll have to go to a vote. Yeah.
Okay. I will now hand over to the scrutiny officers to conduct the vote.
So, if you're in favour of Councillor Williams' recommendation that you send the matter back to Cabinet for decision, can you vote yes? If you are not in favour of sending it back to Cabinet, can you vote no? Thank you.
Before we ask you to vote, my colleague will read out the names of the members we think are still present in the meeting, just to verify who's here before we go. We'll reread the list out and ask you to vote. Okay?
Councillor Stephen Bledsoe.
Yes, I support the motion.
Just doing a roll call at the moment, sorry.
Just to see if who's still in the meeting.
I'm in the meeting.
Councillor Nora Clark.
Yes, I'm still here.
Councillor Colin Davis, please.
Yeah, still here.
The chair is present in the room. Councillor Philip Jenkins.
Yes, still here.
Thank you. Councillor Mike Kern.
Yes, still here.
Councillor William Kendall.
Yes, I'm present.
Thank you. Councillor Jonathan Pratt is present in the chamber. Councillor Graham Walter, please.
Yes, I'm present. Thank you.
Councillor Ian Williams.
Yes, I'm present.
And I can see Councillor Martin Williams is in the chamber as well.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the vote. My colleague will read out the names of the members, and if you're in favour of Councillor Martin Williams' proposal, you would say yes, or if you're not, you would say no, and obviously people can abstain as well if they wish. So, any questions before we start? No?
Any questions before we start, people?
Sorry, there's a number of councillors listed on the side, and we don't know if any were missed out as being committee members.
Well, the names just read out were the committee members, I take it, so
that
nobody else will be asked.
No
like, for example, Councillor
Yeah.
Betso.
Yeah.
They're observers.
They can observe, they can...
I wasn't sure if Councillor Delahughes was on the committee or not. I've just seen a name for a while. Apologies
No,
if I got it wrong.
No, I think she just listening in, I believe.
Okay, so we're going for the vote then.
Councillor Stephen Bledsoe, please.
Yes, I support the motion.
Councillor Nora Clark, please.
Yes.
Councillor Colin Davis, please.
No, I don't support the motion. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Paul Davis.
Well, I have sympathy with the motion, but in light of what Councillor Graham Walter has given us, I'm going to vote no.
Thank you. Councillor Philip Jenkins, please.
Yes.
Councillor Mike Kern, please.
I vote no.
Thank you. Councillor William Kendall.
No.
Thank you. Councillor Jonathan Pratt.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Graham Walter, please.
No.
Thank you. Councillor Ian Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. And finally, Councillor Martin Williams, please.
Yes.
Okay, so the vote is 6 in favour and 5 against. So Councillor Martin Williams' proposal is carried.
It does say in the notes that if it's carried, they've got to give reasons after it's been carried. So that's what it says in the notes, Martin, unfortunately. Do you want to just once again run through the reasons just to emphasise?
Yes, Chair. I mean, Kelly summarised it pretty well. But the reasons were that we don't consider, well, the decision couldn't have been properly made without proper consideration of the financial impact of the strategy, and therefore it's been sent back to Cabinet to reconsider, and to in their consideration, the advice would be that they have a consideration was my word of the day of the financial implications of their decision.
Okay, well that's been decided. I don't think there's no more further business. There's no urgent items in this on this agenda. So I will thank you very much for your attendance this afternoon and this evening. Sorry, and see you next time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.